You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, following a 2-1 defeat on home ice on a Saturday afternoon to the Anaheim Ducks. I'm Ross Levitan. With me, as always, Brandon Pillar, and recurring guest of the Postcast at Laleem's Martian. You can follow him there. You can follow us on Twitter at Send Central. Pilsy, your initial impression after what I thought was a well-played game. Weird, Pilsy. You got the mute on. You must be the.
There we go.
Mute.
I'm back.
Dash this one on shift one. Let's go.
That's tough start.
Yeah, it was an early day for me. I'm here in the rainforest now, though. All right. My initial thoughts is John Gibson stole that game for the Anaheim Ducks. Like, the Sens threw everything they had at him. They had amazing chances. I thought their power play looked really well. I thought they were jumping on rebounds. Everyone was contributing with shots from all angles. Like, it was really another incredible game by the Sens where the process is there. They just can't quite squeeze out the results. And I guess I'll go for my second thing is we're now seeing that the Ottawa Senators are an exceptional second period team. Like, they always seem to come out flat in the first, and then in the second period, they dominate. So this has been a pattern that has been positive for sure. It's just, man, they're just not able to get over the hump, and they can't get that crucial goal when they need it.
Marcia, did you see that's a third straight game the Ducks have allowed more than 40 shots on goal?
Not really too surprised about that. When you have a tendy like that, you tend to play a little fast and loose. So John Gibson in your net, I guess the boys are confident, letting him take some chances for them. So that's going to be fun as a player, knowing you have a guy like that who's ready to, stop the puck for you when you do screw up, because that Ducks team defense, I don't know about it, guys. They looked pretty shaky, to say the least. If we had a goalie swap today, I think
no question. I think you might have to put it 5, 6, 7 spot up. The amount of chances that John Gibson turned aside, as DJ Smith said, their goalie put on a clinic. That was the difference in this afternoon's game. 44 saves for John Gibson. His best, for my money, was on Adam Gaudette on a beautiful passing play. Ennis to Shabbat to Stützle, cross seam pass, but John Gibson stayed with it every step of the way. The other best opportunity, I don't know if it was the best one to get past him, but Austin Watson eked himself out on the breakaway, also deked out John Gibson. Did you guys notice it all today with Gibson? When he makes that initial save, he kind of has his momentum falling backwards, and then he does so well at like maneuvering while he's on his back. I thought that was a tremendous kind of style that I noticed from Gibson today. He's a hell of a goalie.
It's weird, eh? He kind of like strafes backwards as he's making saves, and he's able to control his body. He must have incredible core strength, is what that probably is, right?
Craig Anderson-esque, is it not?
A little bit.
Very. Yeah. I mean, not the biggest guy ever, is he? I don't even know. I don't even know.
6'2", probably.
Yeah, I don't know what his dimensions are, but yeah, I guess so. Yeah, kind of Anderson-esque.
I don't know his dimensions. Hey, as you can tell from the mood, like, it's a regulation loss in the grand scheme of things. What's the difference when you see the effort was there? And it certainly was today. You look at 45 shots to 20 for the Anaheim Ducks. And man, if you just get a couple saves, I know we're a goalie-friendly show. Before we get to what actually happened, the execution in the game, I think we were all a little surprised that it wasn't Matt Murray today. Were you not, Pills?
I was a little surprised, but I mean, if you're DJ Smith, a weird matinee time game maybe doesn't really set up Matt Murray to succeed. We know maybe his preparation and him knowing if he's ready for a game takes a little longer than other goalies. So maybe it was a point like, hey, you don't have your usual routine. You don't get your afternoon nap. You don't get all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go with Forsberg here just to make sure I'm setting you up in a comfortable spot. And can you guys hear me all right? I swear I'm not muted this time.
No, you're good. I'm just having fun at my own expense because I always get caught sleeping.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and Martian's got to work a quick mute button too because Hansel likes to pop his nose and sound in here. And you got the bravest people in Canada making noise outside too.
Yeah, I live right downtown, so I have the Truckers for Freedom outside my door here. So yeah, if my dog barks, I apologize. That's so embarrassing when that happens. So
man,
hopefully he doesn't. He should be good. He's tired. So.
It's all good. We're a dog-friendly show too, goalie-friendly, dog-friendly.
100%. love dogs on this show. That is a fact. All right, now to get into the game, and again, if you're listening to this on Sunday morning, although I mean matinee games are great for that. You actually get to kind of soak up afterwards what's going on. Watch, it's Hockey Day in Canada, which I didn't know about until I saw the feature on Igor Sokolov. We'll never get tired of that story. Could listen to him all day. And now, Martian, it was you that mentioned on your Twitter at Leems Martian that he's not our little secret anymore. Now that's national news.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's just being introduced to him for the first time watching that segment, it's impossible for your heartstrings not to be getting plucked as that's going on, and it's impossible not to cheer for a guy like Igor Sokolov, who is, you know, as salt of the earth as he is. I honestly think that they should start a program for international players where they put them all through the East Coast and just make them learn what it is to be like. Nobody is as Canadian as the people on the East Coast with the friendliness and just the vibes. He's so integrated now. For a guy who came here not speaking any English, and now all of a sudden you can't shut him up now because he's so like, you know, he's totally comfortable, which is exactly what you want for a guy who's brand new to a whole new country and language and city and town and whatever, family, all of it. It's all brand new to him, and so for him to be able to come in like that and to be what he is now, only whatever it is 4 or 5 years later, is incredible.
I couldn't agree more. Another guy who's seemingly more and more comfortable is Adam Gaudette, not only at the offensive end. He was dangerous again today, I thought. Didn't have the points that he's been putting up in recent games, but certainly looked comfortable. But the reason I bring him up is because right off the bat, and guys, 5 shots on goal for him. I really like seeing that. A little extra confidence, a little more ice time, almost 4 minutes on the power play. We'll touch on how the power play looked good, but didn't produce, as kind of contradictory as that could sound. But Adam Gaudette got this game started with a little fisticuffs. Martian, I'll go with you on what you thought, not only about Gaudette's fight, but Josh Brown's fight. These two teams, top 3 in the league in fighting majors, so no surprise that you're trying to gain a little energy in an empty building on an afternoon affair.
Yeah, you've made the comparison in the past that he's a bit of a Mike Hoffman style player, and he's a bit of I would say offensively, he's a Mike Hoffman light. But we've never seen Mike Hoffman dominate in a fight like that before. So it was kind of nice to see, him chuck him. That's kind of the identity of the team, and he's trying to embody that, I think, with a fight like that. It's like, we're not going to back down to anybody. I don't care who you are. I'm a healthy scratch half the season. That doesn't matter. I am going to punch you in the face. So I love to see that out of Adam Gaudette, showing that fight early. And then, yeah, like you said, tons of good chances out of him. Didn't notice him on the defensive side of the ice, and that's what you want from him. So, I was definitely happy with his game again. I don't think he's going to be getting pulled out anytime soon with the injuries we see. We need that offensive power that he can sometimes cause a lot of havoc in front of the other team's net, things like that. So, great tilt from him. And then if you want me to touch on the Josh Brown fight as well, love to see that out of big Josh Brown, right? Taking on a guy who's in his weight class, and Buddy Robinson, who I think is actually even 2 inches taller than Josh Brown. So
his dimensions, eh?
I know his dimensions. Well, yeah, former senator. I know my guys. I got my guys.
Yeah.
I don't know many Ducks, okay? But I do know Buddy Robinson and Jacob Silverberg too, but won't get into that. Buddy Robinson he's no slouch either. He's not a Logan Brown tall guy. He's no pushover. He's not made of glass. Buddy Robinson can chuck him too. So big challenge for Josh Brown, and at a time in the game too, where it's kind of a sketchy time to fight. When you're the momentum was kind of in Ottawa's favor. It was a tie game. If Josh Brown goes down hard and gets knocked out or something like that, that's a big momentum swinging fight. But he did a really good job standing in there, and not only standing in there, but he got the takedown, and he threw a few hammers at the end. I think Buddy's going to be feeling that.
Speaking of defenseman in this game, Josh Manson only played 5:16 before leaving the game, did not return after getting a huge hit from Brady Tkachuk near the end of the first period. So you do have to give some stick taps to especially Cam Fowler, who was up at 28 minutes, although those are rookie numbers for Thomas Chabot, again leading this game in ice time, playing 29-16. Verbal meme, guys. You know, the 2 little kids who are running at each other with a hug. Looks like they haven't seen each other in a long time.
Yeah, the cutest meme on the internet. Yeah, I've seen it.
That's going to be Thomas Chabot running at Jake Sanderson when he joins him in Ottawa. Like, oh, please, come on, take some pressure off.
Are you sure that's not going to be him running at Colin White when he comes back?
Hey, by the way, Both of those two, Thomas Chabot, Colin White, will celebrate their 25th birthday tomorrow as well, born on the same day. 3 sets of Senators have the same birthday in the month of January. Let that sink in. Isn't that weird?
Very weird.
Stützle and Tyler Boucher, both January 15th.
Okay. I thought you were talking about current guys on the roster.
No.
Really weird.
Because then we found this out. Latimer and Tyler Clevin, both January 10th, and then Chabot and White, January 30th. Just an absolutely meaningless stat, but that I found very strange. So we'll throw that in there as well. We're about to get to our Send Central standouts in this game. Again, the final score 2-1 for the Anaheim Ducks. Rickard Rakell gets the opening goal, first goal of the game for the Ducks. And then Tyler Ennis, one of the best to ever lace him up. It's not even close. And that pass wasn't even close. But the way Tyler Ennis was able to knock it down, spins, fires, scores, unbelievable effort. He gets the goal. Lassie Thompson gets his 5th assist of the season. Thomas Chabot, his 19th, game tied at 1 after 1. Same score after 2 period. But the problem is when the Sens are tied or trailing after 2 periods, they only have 2 wins in 20 games. But when they're leading, they've got 11 wins in 13 games. So they had that great power play opportunity at the end of the second period, weren't able to capitalize. And to make matters worse, they weren't able to capitalize on a power play to start the third period again. Now, say what you want about the Drysdale up over the glass. It's not the game breaker. What was Troy Terry taking all that momentum and just on a rush from outside the hash marks. Now, that leads me to what I want to bring up for you, Pilsy. As a goalie, how deflating can it feel as you let the team down twice in this game? 2 goals that just should not go in on a National Hockey League tendy.
Yeah, that's tough because both of those goals you do expect Forsberg to save. I'll give him a little bit of forgiveness on the first goal. That's just a play where he slips up on his pushover from the post to follow the wraparound, and then he's not quite set in the right spot. It happens. So that one I'm not too upset about, but that second one, that's one where Holden is doing a great job of holding off Troy Terry there. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, driving him wide, trying to get the stick in the lane there. And Forsberg's just not quite ready for that kind of shot. And that's the thing the Senators need here is they need someone that can just, Josh Norris, a shoot first center that can just go down the wing and rip a shot and beat a goalie like that. But they weren't able to do that tonight. And you got to feel a little bad for Holden too, because he probably feels like that one's on him as that was his guy. But I thought he played it fine. It was just Forsberg didn't quite get there in time for that save.
Martian, what do you think the worst goal was to allow? The first one where you drop a bit of momentum after that dominant first 10 minutes and it just squeaks through 5-hole, or the way that the game winner ended up going in?
Definitely the first one, in my opinion. I see what you're saying, though, Pilsy. He did kind of, I don't know if his stick got caught or something happened where he was.
I think he tried to push off the post and his skate wasn't quite there, and then he pushed against
nothing,
and then his leg slips out.
He kind of like did a little wobble, and then his stick was out of position, so I ended up going 5-hole. But at that time of the game, and with the Senators' track record for allowing the first goal, that was the one that I was really hoping that he could have stopped. When you first started talking about that, Pilsy, I for sure thought you were going to say you were going to give him leeway on the second goal because of where Holden's stick position was. He kind of, instead of corralling him to the outside like he could have, I think he kind of threw his stick out in front of the shot. And I don't know if his stick touched it. It doesn't really matter. But just that. And again, I'm not the goalie on the show, but you guys tell me if someone's taking a shot and your defenseman throws his stick in front of it right as it's being released, even if it doesn't touch it, I feel like that could definitely affect the trajectory of the shot, or I don't know, but that one too, again, stoppable from where he's being shot at from. His angle was fine. It went right over his right shoulder, which was a weird placement for that shot too. I give Holden a bit of blame on that goal.
Okay.
But again, if Matt Murray was starting tonight, I think we see a completely different outcome. I think we might have seen another Matt Murray shutout.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
No doubt.
He's been playing.
Oh, it's wild, man. It's tough to see too, because now you have the back-to-back coming up Monday and Tuesday. So what? Now Forsberg's going to be the guy who plays 2 out of 3 games? Because I don't think you're going Matt Murray back-to-back against Edmonton and then on the road.
This time you don't think so? You were gung-ho on that last time, eh?
This time, Ross.
I mean, they've got a week off after.
But why do we play Forsberg 2 to 3 games? That makes no sense either.
Yeah, that's
the only thing is, are you trying to boost his trade value? But then games like this do the exact opposite.
Exactly. I think you got to go Murray, especially if he plays good the first game.
Wow.
I've called Murray to start like 4 times in a row, and I'm 1 for 4 where he
I think here's what I think. I think Zach Burke and Murray have a really strong relationship, and I think they're calling their own starts. I think Murray is picking his starts, and I think he sees that 12:30 matinee, and I see a guy who's got his routine totally screwed up by waking up and having to go to the rink immediately to like prepare for a game. No pregame nap, no pregame skate. Matt Murray, probably a major creature of habit, like most goalies are. So I think Matt Murray's making these calls, and I think we got, correct me if I'm wrong, I totally could be. I haven't actually looked at the schedule, but 2 evening games in a row, maybe.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday. Monday on home ice against Edmonton, 7 o'clock, and then 7:30 on Long Island at the new barn. First time playing at the new barn.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little more manageable for a guy like Matt Murray who decides that, I can do 2 in a row, but let me have my routine.
Symbolic on Dominic Hasek's birthday. We know Mr. Load Management in his time in Ottawa. All right, we're going to bring on
Billsy, you want to sing happy birthday to Dom Hasek? I know he's your guy.
I mean, it's true.
I won't sing it, but I'll definitely give him a shout out because he really is my guy. And Ross, that video you posted of Hasek being introduced as a senator was all time. Oh,
you boys see what time I posted that at? Story for another day. It was an early morning. Alarm went off at 3:30 this morning. So we're here now. We watched the game. It was perfect timing. At shift ends, game starts. So worked out well. And we're going to do our Send Central standouts right now. And then we're going to be joined quickly by the host of Locked On Ducks. We'll get the opponent's view and talk about Sens abroad here. Jacob Silverberg, Buddy Robinson, Derek Grant was out there doing his thing today as well. But clearly, without saying, John Gibson, first star of this game with 44 saves, some highlight reel ones at that. And just whenever there was a momentum shift, and you got to think those power plays had a lot to do with it, the Senators 0 for 3 with the power play right now. They're 1 for their last 16. Which is too bad because you don't really see an end in sight with the guys who are all out of the lineup right now. Pilsy, I think it's your turn to lead us off with your Send Central standout.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the chat here, and people are begging to hear about Lassie Thompson. So I will reward you guys because Lassie Thompson, I'm starting to think that maybe he's getting a bit of an edge over JBD not because his play is leaps and bounds better, but DJ Smith is trusting him in more scenarios and he's getting that big ice time. Like JBD, I don't think it was that often that he was getting like 22, 23 minutes a night, whereas Lassie Thompson, it's been steady this whole time. And say what you want about that pass. I'm not usually a fan of firing a wrist shot as a pass halfway up a guy's leg, but when you're doing it to the best to ever lace him up, you can expect that he's going to knock that down, do a spinorama, and whip it in, and it's going to go in. So I think Lassie Thompson played a really great game, and to see these young defensemen being able to step up and come to the NHL and have their coach's trust is a big deal for this team and for Lassie. So I want to give a big shout out to Lassie Thompson because I've really liked how he's done. And it's nice that the Sens have kind of been flip-flopping, giving them opportunities. So no one gets kind of too cold or no one gets left aside. Lassie's making the most of his opportunity here.
So his career high in ice time was 23 minutes and 27 seconds against the Carolina Hurricanes on Thursday. Today, he played 27 minutes and about 4 seconds, 3 in fact. So before last game, this would have been a career high, but now back-to-back games, Lassie Thompson up over 23 minutes. Great choice, Pilsy. Who do you have? Martian as your Send Central standout.
Yeah, I'm not Pilsy. I'm Martian.
That's what I have.
He was just complimenting me, Martian. Can you let me have it for a second here? Jeez.
Yes, I can. And my guy is a guy who made his debut tonight for the Ottawa Senators, and that is Mark Kastelik.
Stick taps for Casty.
Friend of the show.
Birthdays.
Friend of the show.
When I saw his
interview, by the way, if you guys haven't checked it out.
No, haven't. Got to. It's his dad's birthday as well. So we saw an elite prospects, crazy enough. But talk about a birthday gift for his dad, getting to see his son play his first NHL game. What do you give us a little nugget from the interview?
I don't remember what you're talking about. What nugget are you talking about?
You said that Kastelik was a great interview. So what did he
tell
us?
I just remember enjoying it. You know, he was in the
our interview.
Yeah.
I took the dog out at intermission. I thought as a first game, sometimes
No,
they do
no,
the
no.
interview.
Sorry,
of course we're
misunderstanding
referencing
your
our interview.
miscommunication. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the
All right.
Locked On Senators interview that he did
We're talking it
earlier
out.
this season, I
Let's
believe,
go.
while he was in Belleville in the, I think he was in the CAA arena.
He was.
He was.
Hey, and shout out to Belleville Sens and Footy. They actually put that out on their Instagram story. Gave us a little tag. So, yeah, no, Casty was awesome on with us. And I had no idea. You just think of him as a big Western kid, right? Played for the Calgary Hitmen. And you're like, wait, you're from Scottsdale? Like you grew up in Arizona?
Yeah, weird, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. I actually forgot that he was from Arizona. That was a nugget from the interview that you guys had, right?
There you go.
Okay, let's not get too off track though, because this is my standout. All right, so let me have my moment here. Mark Kastelik had without looking. Did you guys look at what his ice time was tonight?
Yeah, I got it right in front of me.
I did.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. Well, it's extremely low
Yeah.
considering his impact. And I feel like this is a theme for my standouts, guys with low ice time who have good impact. And he only had 6 minutes and 22 seconds of ice time.
Yep.
So obviously not a ton of ice time. And I think he was really, really good on the forecheck with the ice time that he was given.
Three hits.
Him and Sokolov, yeah, and he was playing the body. Him and Sokolov early were a total headache for the defense core of who were they playing tonight, boys?
What's that?
Yeah, no, but seriously, he was incredible. He just like all over the ice. He throwing the body, and as we know, as you told me earlier today on Twitter, Ross, he can throw the knuckles too if he wants to. So he was tough out there, and it was good to see a guy make a debut and have an impact, and even the people on the broadcast. Gary Galley was noticing how he was making an impact out there too. So I'm going with Kastelik.
I like that. A little shine for a rookie in his first NHL game. Mitchell telling me I should check out the Locked On Senators podcast. Some great interviews we hear that they have. So I will do that. I'll take your advice, Mitchell, and maybe I'll go listen to that Casty interview this afternoon. Stick taps for him as he makes his National Hockey League debut. I'm debating between two guys. And I think I'm just going to shout them both out because, well, I'm the host. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to give it to both Brady Tkachuk and Alex Formenton for similar reasons. They were both a pain in the ass today, not only finishing every check, but getting in the face of the opposition. Brady had a great play where he flattened a defenseman right out front of the net, and both of them were putting pucks on net. How about Brady trying to copy his brother? Now, he wasn't as far out as Matthew was in that game against Nashville where he scored the winner with like a second left from the hash marks. He was a little bit closer, but he puts this puck right between his legs, tried to go upstairs, and he had multiple scoring chances in this game, 7 shots on goal. So now, yeah, a 12-game goalless drought does not look great for Brady Tkachuk, but when you look at the offense he's producing, it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The way he's shooting the puck, what is that now? 22 shots in his last 2 games?
That's a quick math guy for me. I'm going to have
21.
to take a look here.
Sorry,
yeah.
It's 21 because he had 12 last game. Guys, like that's a lot of shots for a guy. And they're all in the goal mouth area, right? And that one between the legs.
36 shots in his last 6 games.
Wow.
Jesus. That's a ton of shots. That's a team's worth of shots, basically.
Yeah.
He's all over it. He's making it happen for sure. That one between the legs, though, yeah, you could kind of tell. I like how he doesn't force it. Like that was a good time to do it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do this because this is what us Tkachuks do. Like we love this move. We practice it in our driveway in St. Louis as kids all the time. No, it was the puck was behind him. He had nothing else he could have done with it, and he got good wood on it. And there he was again, John Gibson, right? So,
man. Pilsy, I'm not going to ask you to pick between both of them, but how excited are you to see both Brady Tkachuk and Alex Formenton one day play in the playoffs? Like, as much as we say, like, wait till playoff Brady, like, Alex Formenton is just as much of a prick as Brady, if not more. He was mixing it up every whistle he was out on the ice.
Prick.
I think that he was one of the reasons why that Brown and Robinson fight happened. He was mixing it up the shift before in front of the net. I think tempers started to heat up, and then away they go.
Yeah, Formenton's a gritty guy. Like, for a guy with his hands and speed, you wouldn't expect it, but scrums come along and someone says the wrong thing at the wrong time. He doesn't like it. He'll let you know, and maybe he doesn't throw down fists or anything, but he's definitely chippy, and he's not afraid to mix it up. That's for sure.
Nice.
There it is.
All right. So now we've got a Senators win 2-1. Now let's get the opposition's glance on this one. We welcome in Jason Hernandez from Locked On Ducks. We'll see if we can get the video on there, Jason. Because
it's dark over in Anaheim. Holy
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, for a midday game, man. Come on.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on tonight's or this afternoon, this morning, whatever you want to call it, game out in the West Coast?
I'm sad the video's not working because I got a little surprise for you guys. I don't know if you could see on the background.
Is it a Derek Grant jersey? We can't see it all.
Jacob Silverberg, perhaps?
There's a Sens jersey in the background.
Hey!
I knew I'd be coming on.
Come on.
So, I mean, I've got to at this point, right? Let's see if we can get it to work now. I don't know why it's showing up black.
Oh, it's all good, Jason. We're going to post this audio as well. So let's just chat it out, man. Your team just won. They just beat the Habs as well. Did I read? I think they're like 8-1-2 against the Atlantic Division.
Yes,
What's causing this success?
I mean, part of it is the All-Stars are overperforming. I will admit they are overperforming a little bit right now because going into this season, we didn't think the Ducks would be in first place. We didn't think they'd be in the playoffs. I'll admit I had them in the cellar. They had no business being in first place. First place. Look at the standings. I can't believe it. But part of it is the special teams schemes have fared better against Eastern Conference teams, not just Atlantic, Eastern Conference teams in general, where special teams have been out of the mind. And we got to give up to John Gibson, the ultimate penalty killer. The Ducks right now are still one of the top 10 teams, top 5 teams rather, in penalty killing, and still top 10 in power play. So it's been all about special teams right now.
Hey, they look good. I mean, I got the dog barking. It's unbelievable right now. But, man, I wasn't even mad watching that game. You see it, and it's right down to the wire, empty net. And the Sens have had a lot of those recently where it was because that team hit the empty netter and made it such little puck line Jesus. But I think if you're a Sens fan, and Martian, I want to go to you here because I'm curious about, you mentioned Adam Gaudette earlier in this game, but like, I think it was the other unsung heroes, and I know you shouted out both Kaslich and Igor Sokolov as well. Who was another guy? Was there other guys on this team here today that really caught your attention? Because I'm looking at one stat in particular here, and I'm wondering if you're going to pick it up there.
I have no idea what the stat is that you're thinking of.
Yeah, I beat around the bush there pretty good.
I don't think that I'm going to be able to get it, but I can't believe we made it this far without mentioning Tyler Ennis tonight.
Yep. We got to. And shout out Jason Hernandez joining us. That was fun to have him on, but we got to get the video working if he's coming back. So I think we'll leave it at that for today with him. I want to get some final thoughts on both of you, but the stat I was trying to poke you in the right direction to is Tim Stützle once again.
Face-offs.
No. Kaslich was 3-0.
Okay.
Tim Stützle 0-2 in the face-off dot, but Tim Stützle did play 24 minutes.
Yeah.
And 43 seconds. This guy, he's clearly getting the rigors of a first-line center right now.
Hell yeah, he is, and he should be. Stützle is one of those guys now all of a sudden where you look at him and he can take over a shift with his play, with his puck handling, with his stick handling, with his passing ability and his speed. And people give him respect when he's on the ice because they know that he's going to make them look stupid if they don't. So it's really nice to see him getting that around the league. And as far as rookies and young players go, 20-year-old players, I hardly noticed. I'm sorry, Jason. I hardly noticed Trevor Zegras tonight beyond that first period. Busting through the middle the way he did. His very similar to Stützle in the way he busts through like that with that hands and those speeds. So I was really impressed with how and that's another 2020 World Junior matchup that we saw. Those two guys going head-to-head against each other and battling it out for the top point getter.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Stützle won best forward, but Zegras won MVP.
Yeah, and we saw the same thing last week when Dylan Cousins was playing against the Sens. Stützle and Cousins were going at it, and Stützle wants that. He's engaged with those guys his own age, and that's just one of those things that tells you as he matures and as the league gets younger around him, because he's going to continue to get older, he's just gonna only get better. Didn't mean to throw shade at Zegras. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, that's what a way to hop in, eh?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Zegras didn't play that many minutes at the end. where for some reason the coaching staff, they've been doing that this season in general, is they're playing him less and less as the game goes on some games. The last game that didn't happen because Ryan Getzlaf was injured for 50 minutes of the game. So Zegras had to play heavy minutes on Thursday night against Montreal. So I don't know if it's minutes protection or what, but maybe that's part of it. And thanks, Kevin, for the message.
Oh yeah,
on that.
Kevin's a beauty. Kevin's a great
so
friend
Jason,
of the show.
what's the story behind the Sens jersey? What's going on there? We love it, but there's got to be some sort of connection here.
It's my favorite of all the Sens jerseys. It's probably
Okay.
one of the best considered. I'm trying to get all 32 eventually.
Nice.
And for my money, that's one of the best ones.
All right.
I like
Nice.
that, but also, I mean, you guys have probably one of the best jerseys of all time in your history. I want to get your take as a Ducks fan. I don't talk to Ducks fans very often, Jason, if you couldn't tell. So I want you to let me know what you think about the jade and eggplant. Like, where's that at?
Best ones.
Oh, amazing.
Far better than the ones they have right now. The jersey they wore today,
Yeah.
not that good. But if I can go back on one thing that kind of caught my eye. Shot attempts in the final two periods were abysmal for the Ducks. They were outshot attempted 74-38 in the game, 58-17 in the final two periods. I'll come out and say it. The Ducks had no business winning this game.
Yeah.
None. It was all about John Gibson on this game, and maybe Troy Terry a little bit. But Gibby is showing why he's an all-star and kind of shutting up the doubters right now.
Yeah, Gibson definitely was the main factor for that win for you guys. But Jason, let's hear as a outside perspective here, watching the Sens, you don't get to see him that often. Who really stood out to you? I mean, we already talked about Stützle, so I'll take the low-hanging fruit away from you there. But who else really stood out for you from the Sens watching this one?
Because that was my number one guy. Stützle, I think, is a fantastic young player. Ottawa should be looking good in their future. Brady Tkachuk.
You didn't even get to see the other two guys that we have.
Yeah,
I know. I wanted to see them play. Stupid Arundel. Brady, as a SoCal guy and having seen Dell played a lot, don't like him. So Brady Tkachuk is one guy that stood out for me. I think Tkachuk played pretty aggressively today. Got some good hits on a couple of Ducks, which I'll give Tkachuk credit for. Is he's always been one of those guys that's been on the thorn of several teams, and he stood out to me a lot on this morning's game. Stützle, obviously, but Tkachuk is my second choice on that one. And also Tyler Ennis. That was a pretty nice goal that he had.
He's had a heater.
He is.
I mean, he stood out to me as well.
Oh yeah, we gotta get the TSN music out. Da-na-na, na-na-na. Aaron Dell on waivers as we bring him up for the last time ever on this show. This week has had way too much Aaron Dell pills.
Waivers.
I'll be surprised if he finds his way back in the NHL at all. Like, who's going to pick up a guy who's got a 3
Buffalo had almost no goalies available, and they decided to waive him. Like, I know Anderson's coming back, but like they are desperate, and they decided we're better off without him.
Yeah, but how is he going to serve a pending 3-game suspension when he's?
Who cares? He can retire with a
give him to
suspension.
Arizona.
Jamie McLennan retired it with a suspension.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's kind of a beauty move, but I think Jamie McLennan's a way bigger beauty than Aaron Dell.
Oh yeah,
yes. Give him to the Coyotes. They have half a goalie right now anyway.
Honestly, yeah,
no doubt. So, final question for you, Jason, is like, what's the play for the Ducks? Like, are they going playoffs this year? I know the Pacific Division's pretty wide open.
Honestly, they weren't thinking that earlier. Now that they're on this aggressive GM search, and the rumor is that they will be buyers because they're in first place. And they're kind of fast forwarding the rebuilding process right now. Hey, if you have a shot at the playoffs, you take that shot because all you need is a chip in a chair to get in the playoffs, and you never know.
Especially when you got a goalie like Gibson. Like, you always have a chance with him, right?
SoCal knows this very well. 10 years ago, Jonathan Quick willed that Kings team to the 2012 Stanley Cup final. And John Gibson is kind of heating up right now. So there's no reason that the Ducks shouldn't have a pretty deep run and at the very least, be a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that, like going for it when you make the playoffs. But do you get concerned at all that maybe that, buying and giving up assets or probably picks and prospects, I'm guessing, for something that's going to push them over the top is going to, for lack of a better term, F with the rebuild?
Well, it depends on who the GM is going to be, honestly, because there are a couple of expiring contracts. Also, Manson's one of them, Raquel's one of them. So the Ducks could possibly move to get some picks for those assets, while at the same time getting a couple of players and take on a couple of contracts. Because the advantage the Ducks have over several other teams is they're in first place and they have a ton of cap space.
Yeah,
So
that's a rare sight.
yeah, so we'll see who the GM is soon.
Man, we enjoy watching the Ducks. They're a young, fun team, and Jamie Drysdale certainly noticeable, both positive and negatively tonight in this game. He was the guy who Tyler Ennis spun right off of, but again, he played big minutes as a young defenseman. So we're looking forward to that conversation once Jake Sanderson gets there. The first two defensemen taken in that 2020 draft. There'll be a lot of fun back and forth with that over the years. In the meantime, though, anyone who wants to follow a team in first place, go give Locked On Ducks a listen. Jason Hernandez does a great job on that. Jason, thanks for joining us today, man. We'll do it again down the road here as the Ducks make their way to a playoff spot, which I'm impressed even just saying that out loud.
I love that last comment, but Martian, could it be a repeat of 2007 where an own goal wins the cup?
Wow.
Hey, don't do our guy, Chris.
Wow. On that note, get out of here. On that note,
bye,
get out
Jason.
of here. But we give him some stick taps. That was awesome.
Yeah.
This has been a great show. We certainly are not shy going longer on these. We started about 10, 12 minutes, and now the chat stays on fire, so we stay hanging out. Just guys being dudes on the postcast after a 2-1 loss in regulation. So if you're on the side, and I know we see it in the chat, of the Sens need one more top pick for them to really get this rebuild going, well, this is the perfect tank game. You play well, you deserve to win, and you don't get a single point. But in terms of having fun watching this team, I certainly enjoyed today's effort. And then next will be Monday. We got lots to break down on Monday's Locked On Senators, including Tyler Boucher's debut with the 67s, not necessarily going as planned.
Remember I said to play conservative? I said it.
Yeah, and shoulders seem to be quite the common denominator when it comes to young Senator stars going down with injuries. It absolutely sucks, but what doesn't is this continued stretch of hockey. The Senators will play Monday, they'll play Tuesday, and then we can take a deep breath for a week before going right back in the thick of things for 40-plus more games. Hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. For @Lalim's Martian and Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Postcast following a 2-1 Senators loss on home ice against the